some food coloring, some water, and a glass bowl. That is all WBOC meteorologist Mike Lichniak needed to show the inner workings of hurricanes. He did that this morning on Facebook as part of our weather department's Weather Wise. Certainly a timely experiment as hurricane season began this week. I'm here in the Weather Center with Mike now to learn more. First of all, Mike, this is my first time in the Weather Center.
Hi, yeah.
So it's bigger than it looks on TV, which is weird.
And especially since this is where I work and sometimes I sleep.
Yeah.
Because when we have big storms, this is the only place that you'll find us most of the time. So
Sure.
It's nice that it's nice and spacious. It looks so much smaller on TV than what it really is.
It's crazy. Now, before we get into hurricanes,
Okay.
it's hot out.
It's hot, yeah. So
Is that normal for this time of year?
So our average high is now 79, 80 for this time of year. So
Okay.
if average is 80, one standard deviation is probably like 85, 86. So
Yeah.
it's a little warmer than what it should be for this time of year, but
Sure.
we always have these warm spurts, these hot spurts, especially around Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Usually it's about the signal, the unofficial start of summer. It's basically the summer start for the meteorological world because of the fact that it gets so hot so quick.
Now, this experiment you did
Yes.
earlier this morning, tell me about it.
So basically it's very simple in the fact that you're just swirling water and dropping food coloring, but what it does, it explains the inner workings of a hurricane because a lot of people don't understand this, and like when I say this, it blows people's minds that a hurricane can breathe. See?
Mind.
So you have a very strong low pressure at the surface, which is why hurricanes get to like 930 millibars and things like that. At 45, 50,000 feet, even higher in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, you actually have high pressure. So as the winds converge at the surface to make the eye wall and the eye of a hurricane happen, it pushes all that warm air up, and then at some point it's got to go out. So you get the breathing up and out, and it's just moving air. And that's why when you look at a satellite image where we could take the current tropical storm that we actually have in the Atlantic on full screen, you can actually see the wisps going away from the center of circulation. That is why, because it's trying to breathe. This is a tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Cristobal. So as of the 11 a.m. advisory, winds are sustained at 60 miles per hour. So it's not a hurricane. It's still a tropical storm, a very strong tropical storm at that. But what it does do, it allows for us to see, okay, it's continuing to strengthen. We can see the swirl. We can see the center of circulation. It's not an eye, but we can see it. But we can also still see that airflow. We can see that it is breathing. You can see that the air is moving, so it has still got that wiggle room to strengthen.
Gotcha. So as we are in hurricane season, kind of, what's the best way for people to prepare?
So always be prepared for hurricane season because, as we always say, it's a good hurricane season for anybody until one storm. Then it's a really bad hurricane season. So the way to stay prepared is to have those precautionary measures ready to go. Have batteries, have flashlights ready to go, have a couple gallons of water just in case.
Sure.
Because we can go from not having a storm off the coast to having a tropical storm like we did a couple weeks ago with Bertha. Bertha was not even a tropical storm. 12 hours later, it was a tropical storm making landfall in South Carolina. So, and it all takes is one big storm to cause havoc and destruction in an area. So that's why we always tell people, just be prepared for the season. It's a long season. It's 5 months long. So it can go on until November.
Sure. Are there predictions for how this season's going to go?
There are predictions. The idea right now is the fact that this is going to be an above average hurricane season. And as you look at this list of names for the 2020 hurricane season, we've already had 3 named storms this year already. Arthur, Bertha, and Cristobal. By the way, Arthur and Bertha both impacted Delmarva in some way, either with high swells or brought us some rain and wind. And Cristobal will actually affect our forecast late next week. Once it makes landfall, it'll bring us a chance of showers and storms. But as you can see, some interesting names on the list here. We have Hannah, we have Gonzalo, we have Nana, we have Omar.
Wow.
Yeah. So the list rotates every 7 years, so we get an idea of what the list is. To remove the name off the list, the name of the hurricane has to be retired, which means that it has made landfall and made devastation somewhere.
Gotcha.
Last year, it was Michael that made landfall, that big Category 4, almost Category 5 hurricane. That name had been retired, so when that list comes around, there will be a new M name on that list.
Gotcha. And people can find out tons of information right on the WBOC weather app.
Right, it's completely free for Apple and Android device, so download that. And especially with severe weather possible later on today, it's a good thing to have because you can get live storm tracker radar and you can get severe weather alerts right to your fingertips.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to stay right here in this weather center.
Okay.
We're going to do another experiment coming up next. Sound good?
That's cool.
All right, we'll be right back. We are back here in the Weather Center hanging out with my pal Mike Lichniak.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Gonna do another experiment.
We're going to do another experiment.
Also using food coloring and water, a couple other things.
Another food coloring experiment. We're going to make a lava lamp.
Yeah, you must just burn through food coloring at your house.
Yeah, Kendra, my wife, is not very happy with me because she opened up one of them. She's like, where's all the food coloring? I was like, you're going to the store. Okay.
That's amazing.
We're gonna do that. All right, so we're going to make a lava lamp today out of just household ingredients.
Yeah.
So what you're going to need is you're going to need a little bit of water. You're going to need vegetable oil, Alka-Seltzer, and food coloring.
Okay.
4 simple ingredients. That's all you need.
Simple.
It's a really quick process as well. All right, so we're gonna.
I like it because lava lamps tend to be expensive if you go to buy them. So this is much easier.
Yeah,
you know?
but this one doesn't last as long as a lava lamp that you plug in, but it still looks just as cool.
That's all that matters.
All right, we're gonna start by pouring in just a little bit of water into the glass.
All right.
Just enough so that we can get the chemical reaction between the Alka-Seltzer and the water, basically. Pour a little bit more in there. How about that? All right. Now you need 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil.
Are you just going to eyeball it?
I'm just going to eyeball it because I've done this experiment a few times.
I was going to say, that's pretty bold.
And there. Now we need to just give it a second to let it settle.
Okay, it's settling. Nice.
Because, you know, water and oil don't mix. So you get the water at the bottom, the oil comes up to the top. So give it a couple seconds to get the little bit of bubbling that we have in there. Let's let that settle down as well before we put the food coloring in.
Cool.
Because I need the surface tension of the division between the oil and the water to happen, because when I put the food coloring into the oil, it won't go into the water until I put the Alka-Seltzer in. That's how you make the lava lamp look happen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of science.
Really cool. All right, so that's settled enough for me to go ahead and put in my food coloring. So we're gonna put a few drops in.
Okay.
And it should eventually settle to the bottom.
Okay.
There we go.
Nice color blue, you know.
Nice color blue, exactly. Alka-Seltzer.
I probably could have opened that box up before we,
it's okay.
we went, you know, on TV, but hey.
It happens.
Let's see, now the pressure's really, okay.
Okay, cracked one. But
so
the
how many are you putting in there?
Just one.
Just one?
Just one. That's all it's gonna take, folks. Really simple experiment, really cool experiment. Some of the food coloring got to the bottom, but that's okay. We're gonna drop this in.
What's gonna happen?
We're gonna get the chemical reaction to go.
Look at that chemical reaction, hey!
And then watch. As the bubbles keep going, notice how they start to circulate inside the oil. And as the reaction keeps going, that food coloring keeps bubbling up, kind of looking like a lava lamp.
Mike, how long will this go on for?
Probably about a minute or two. It's not a very long experiment.
Hey.
It's just dependent on how long the Alka-Seltzer tablet continues to fizz in the water. So it's that chemical reaction in the water. Once it breaks the surface tension of the oil between the surface between the oil and the water, that's when the fizz continues to bubble up, and it takes that food coloring up with it. That's where you get the really cool looking bubbling like you're seeing here.
And you did this on Weatherwise, right?
Did it on Weatherwise last week.
What do people think about it?
They loved it.
And I bet, you know, this will get the kids fired right up.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And that's the point with my version of the Weatherwise is I like to do science experiments. I wasn't the type of kid that liked to just listen to lectures and listen to the teacher. I always wanted to do things, get hands-on with the experiments. So with mine, yes, I like to do weather experiments, but when you see something like this cool somewhere, you want to do it again and you want to show somebody else how to do it.
That's it. Yeah, so, and Weatherwise, when can people find them?
So they're Monday through Friday, and they're on our WBOC Facebook page. We do them just on the internet. Mine happens on Wednesday, and mine happens in the morning because, you know, my sleep schedule and all.
Right.
So I do it here at the station. About 10 a.m. is when they start. They last about 10, 15 minutes on my end just because we go over all the supplies that you need, the experiment itself, and then if it has something to do with weather, I give them a really more in-depth lesson because it's more catered to the middle school kids.
Sure, and our friends at RDE do them, WRDE do them as well.
They join us on the WBOC Facebook page, so you have one of the 5 Draper Media meteorologists on doing it Monday through Friday.
It's a huge weather party all week.
And it's sponsored by the Salisbury School. I do need to get that in too as well. Absolutely.
Well, Mike Lichniak, thank you so much for hanging out with us today and teaching us all the things.
Katie, thank you for coming by.
Yeah,
it's nice to have a guest every once in a while.
It's very fun to be here in the Weather Center, so you're probably not going to be able to keep me away now.
That's fine.
So, perfect.
Cool.